Are you walking right today? This is Vince Miller. Thanks so much for joining me. Today we're going to be in Galatians chapter 5. I'm reading verse 15. It states, "But I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh." So for the rest of this chapter and then much of the next, Paul's going to show the Galatians the right way to walk. This is an example of great discipleship because up to the point in this book, he has addressed false gospel teaching, shared his transformation through the gospel, highlighted the tension between the Jews and the Gentiles regarding the gospel, centralized justification by faith as the means to receive the gospel, demonstrated the law's role in revealing the need for the gospel, pointed to the promise of the covenant and the gospel's fulfillment in Jesus Christ, and finally emphasized freedom from the law through the gospel's revelation, which is a very comprehensive discipleship method. It reminds me kind of discipling my children. I have to say it, then I have to say it again, then I have to say it again, but differently, then I have to show them how, then I just have to yell at them, and then finally someone else tells them, and they finally hear and listen. Now, in education and in psychology, this is affectionately called the rule of 7. It suggests that people typically need to encounter information around 7 times before it finally sticks into their thick skulls. So now go back up and notice how many items are mentioned in that list above. 7. Yet, Paul is about to introduce an 8th point, and this one is vital. He's not just going to outline what they shouldn't do, which is what he's explained a lot up until this point. He's also going to emphasize what they should do. And this move by Paul is next level discipleship, because great disciple makers and teachers and parents know how to do this. They know how to teach their students both what not to do and what to do. And the operative line that Paul wants the believers to do is walk by the Spirit. Now, when Paul uses the word walk in this context, he employs it metaphorically. He is using this word to describe the way believers should conduct themselves. But catch this, in the Old Testament, there were clear commands about how to walk and conduct yourself. Numerous times in the Old Testament, followers were instructed to walk, get this, according to the statutes of the law. It's all over the Old Testament. Even in the central declaration of the Jewish faith, which is called the Shema, found in Deuteronomy 6:4-9, it commanded teaching and walking in God's commands, the law. So can you kind of see the internal conflict that these believers were having at this moment? Jewish believers only understood God as revealed by the law. They were commanded repeatedly to walk by it. They were so used to one way of walking that they could not see another way to walk. And Paul is telling them that they shouldn't walk in the old way because there's a new way. And as you're going to see a little bit later in this chapter, Paul's going to parallel walking according to the law with walking according to the flesh. That's really interesting, isn't it? Now, without giving a lot away in the coming verses, this is why people get stuck in repetitive issues with sin. They don't see that there is a new way to walk. They keep walking in a new life in an old way. Did you catch that? They're walking in a new life in the same old way. But here's the deal. We've got to find a new way to walk. And the only way to do this is not by our power. It's by the Spirit's power. And, of course, to discover how to do that, you're going to have to show up for a few more days. I love you guys. Thanks so much for joining me. I pray this bless you. If it has, share it with someone else. And I'll see you right back here tomorrow for some conclusions to this devotional.